When I stopped being a perfectionist, I pulled my first 9 out of 10. She was like a 5'4", pretty attractive blonde, white girl that I met in the mall actually. I want to tell you guys a story of how I was able to stop overthinking and being a perfectionist. And this should probably save you years and get to your dating goals much faster. Maybe you'll even get an attractive girlfriend from this. My whole life growing up, I was a perfectionist. I was the type of guy who would check his math answers like 3 times before I submitted the test. When I started smoking weed, I somehow became a perfectionist even at smoking weed. I smoked the most weed in the town. I was also an overthinker. I remember I wanted to learn fishing, so I ended up studying how to fish for like 2 weeks online before I even started casting like a single lure, which was retarded. Okay, jump forward to when I was 19. I first started learning about game, influence, social skills. I spent months doing online courses, reading books, because in my mind, I wanted to be perfect at doing it. So I thought if I studied it all before I actually went out, then my first approach would be amazing. And let me tell you, when I first started actually doing like approaches, like actually talking to women, I was absolutely trash. I want to talk about the 5 ways that being a perfectionist and trying to have it all figured out was actually trash and wasted a lot of my life. Okay, number 1, I spent all that time doing courses, watching YouTube videos, and all these skills were sort of like floating around in my mind, but I never actually did them like in the flesh, in reality. So when I first started actually going out and talking to women, I tried to apply like 50 different things that I had learned all at the same time. So literally I was talking to women and I was like in gridlock. I was trying to do things for the first time that I had never tried, and there was like 15 different things. So I was like at a standstill. I was like petrified talking to women. Number 2, when I actually started going out and talking to women, I had forgotten 80% of what I had learned from videos and books. There's something called the Ebbinghaus like learning theory or something. It says that we forget 50% of things that we learn within the first hour of learning them. So you're probably not going to remember half of this video within an hour. We forget 70% of things we learn within 24 hours if we don't take action on it. So a lot of it was just going in one ear and out the other, and it wasted a ton of time. Number 3, when you try to figure out everything just in your own head without getting feedback from nature, you just get absolutely nowhere. Like, how is SpaceX able to build a rocket in half the time as NASA at a 10th of the price and still have the rocket be better because it's a freaking reusable rocket? Well, it's because Elon Musk doesn't give a shit if the rocket explodes. He knows that if he just explodes the rocket, he's gonna get a ton of data from that and he's gonna be able to develop it much faster. Number 4, during the weeks and the months that I spent not taking action, I could have been getting dating success in that same exact time period. Okay, what I didn't realize at the time is you don't need to be some sort of game master to create attraction. There's no like universal law that states you must know X information about social skills before you can attract a girlfriend. All right, there are tons of guys who know nothing about game, but they act on the fundamentals and they get dating results, all right? So this was a massive block that held me back. You can simultaneously believe in yourself right now and want to win right now and still acknowledge the fact that you want to get better and work on your social skills, all right? You don't need to be absolutely perfect. Number 5 is something guys need to realize. Studying can be procrastination, all right? Going to the gym can be procrastination. I remember sometimes I used to go to the gym like twice a day. And really I was procrastinating on doing the shit that I knew I needed to be doing. This is just like reading books. I can be reading books about, I don't know, psychology, when really I need to read books about history or whatever. A lot of guys think they're making progress, but really the only thing progressing is the timeline underneath this video. By the way, if you're a guy that wants to make a change in his dating life and you want a free strategy session with me, click the link below this video. It's gonna take you to a page where you can book in a free strategy session with me. Now let's keep going. Okay, so all in all, being a perfectionist and thinking that I needed to know everything about social skills before taking action wasted a bunch of fucking time. When I got a coach and I actually started talking to women, I encountered a new problem. I was a social perfectionist. My conception of women was that they needed some idealized like movie star guy, so I became a tryhard. I talked to women in a voice that didn't sound like me. I was way over the top, way too energetic. And with women, I thought everything I said had to be perfect. I thought everything had to be funny, intelligent, interesting. I was like trying to find the right words that were like the key to unlock the vagina. I was so trapped in my head trying to think of the right words. It was like I wasn't even in the interaction. It was like me trying to figure out the puzzle while there's a girl like awkwardly looking at me like I'm a retard. And after every conversation I'd have with a girl, I would shit on myself. I was such a perfectionist that it didn't matter if I got her number or I had a decent interaction. I was only able to look at the negative things. And for weeks I wasn't getting the results I wanted, and I got slightly annoyed, and I felt like there was something missing, like there was something I was clearly doing wrong. I decided to secretly record myself talking to women, and then me and my coach played it back and reviewed it. I had a moment of clarity. I was being a tryhard. I decided to run a test where I just didn't give a fuck at all in conversation. So I drove to the mall. Okay, now I'm in the mall. I see this very attractive blonde girl, maybe 30 yards away, and she's walking very fast with bags in her hand towards the exit of the mall. But you know, there's not many women in that mall that I'm at the moment, so I'm like, there's no way I'm letting this girl go. I gotta not give a fuck in this test. So I sort of jog to catch up with her, and I do a 180 spin maneuver, and I stop her in front of her. And from there, I really just chilled. I just fully accepted myself in that moment, and I fully believed in myself that what I was enough. I didn't need to try hard. And nothing that I really said in that conversation was amazing. Nothing would blow your mind, really. Honestly, if you looked at the dialogue, you might think, okay, that was kind of smooth here and there, but it wouldn't be brilliant, really. I was just man to woman, expressing my opinion, telling stories, you know, stuff like that. But I just believed in myself. And you know, there was some chemistry there, so I ended up getting her number with plans to hang out later. And it felt great to get the outcome, but what made me really feel good was I felt normal after this interaction. I didn't feel like I had burned 1,000 calories on the mental bandwidth of trying as hard as I possibly could, but I felt normal. Like I felt like I just had a actual conversation with a girl and it went great. I want to share with you 3 lessons I learned about perfectionism and attracting women. Perfectionism is actually a form of pedestalizing the girl. If you're not going to allow yourself to be human and make mistakes and not be like a movie star, you're really placing the girl's value up here above your own. Number 2, nobody expects you to be perfect. What person have you ever met that everything that comes out of their mouth is like gold? It's super interesting and amazing. If you were actually perfect, people would think that's kind of weird. People wouldn't be able to relate with that. Number 3 is that it's not about the exact correct combination of words. I believe that the foundation of success with women is knowing your value. Okay, the same exact opinion, story, or joke coming from someone who knows their value is gonna sound different than someone who doesn't know their value and sets an unrealistic expectation. Number 4 is to stop trying to plan out a fantasy interaction in your head in advance. Okay, there are a lot of guys that I'll teach a technique or something, and then they'll ask me, okay, well, what happens if I say this, and then she says this? Well, what happens if then this and this happens? Like, dude, you're trying to plan out a fantasy interaction. What you're trying to do is build a shield because you do not trust in yourself in that moment. So when you see a girl, when you see a group of girls that you want to approach, stop trying to think 5 steps ahead because things are going to happen. All right, it's not going to work out exactly as you planned it. You have to have trust in yourself in that moment, all right? Now, once again, if you guys would like to book a free strategy session with me so we could figure out the next steps, whether that's getting you on the first date that you've been on in months, or you want to start going on dates like consistently every single week, maybe with some higher quality women, click the link below and then book in a free strategy session. I don't know how many slots I'm going to have open, but yeah, go ahead and do that, guys. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all soon.